All right, welcome back everybody to I've lost count of my days. To foundation programming, it's different continuing off object oriented programming. And continue from where we left off. Yesterday we started off classes and objects. We left off on the line segment assignments as homework. Today we had Thomas presenting. So without further ado, go ahead, Thomas. Let's see what you were able to get together and what kind of questions you might have.
Yeah, for sure. The first part was to create the class point, so that way we could pass in the some coordinates for x and y. We also needed to do the getters for x and y, and we also wanted to pass in a point object to itself to get the distance. Um, And this is where one of my questions stem from is that basically when you try to reference um, itself like this, right? I don't need to do like a double underscore here, right?
Right. You don't.
Okay, okay. I didn't think so, but I just want to double check. Um, so yeah, I just followed the formula to get the distance at that. And then made the line segment class to accept
Um,
two
Before
point
you
objects.
move on, I just wanted to make sure everything's reading good, because this is one of those that can get very tricky. But I'm glad
Hmm.
you were able to realize it that yeah, this is two. It's supposed to take in a point object, which is great. You did point object, and then leverage the built-in methods that come with it. So you did great. For some reason, this is such a very difficult concept for some people when they start object-oriented programming to try to understand that an object could take in another object and use its own methods within this object. It just drives people bananas. Um, but yeah, it's pretty good. I see here, uh, the formula. It looks like the formula is correct. Um, I
Is
would advise you be careful. Maybe you might have wanted like an extra set of parentheses. Maybe sometimes it can be a little weird. And then same thing like right here and right here, especially when working with big operations. I don't know if it's going to give you any issues, but sometimes it can be very confusing to the Python to understand what's supposed to go first. But yeah,
hmm
so just be aware of stuff like that. But for the most part, it looks all solid. And yes, you use the correct formula. Um, x2 minus x1, and okay, good stuff. All right. And use square root. Yep, that's great, man. Good stuff. Okay. All right, let's continue on.
Ooh. And then for the class line segment, takes in two point objects. And then they wanted us to get the x and y coordinates for both point objects. So did that. It wanted us to employ the distance to method that we created up here um, within the line segment class. So that's what I did here.
Yep, perfect. I see that.
And then the slope wanted us to use that formula. A little hard to see, but um, so I just used once again, I didn't think I needed to use the double underscore here because
Mm-hmm.
calling methods. So since I assigned them as tuples, I just use indexing to
Right.
do the formula.
Right.
And then the only major question that I did have is that the way that it phrased it here, is it made it seem like it wanted us to do an if statement prior to the checking for parallel to see if both were line segment objects.
Where exactly?
Let's see here. For example, if line segment 1 and line segment 2 are both line segment objects, then do this. So
Oh,
it made
yeah.
it so it made
Yep.
it seem like I needed to do some sort of check to see if they were both line segment objects, and I wasn't quite sure how to do that because yeah, I was getting some weird stuff. So I just did the to check to see if the slope was the same. I didn't do the error checking.
Mm, I think it looks good, man. I think, by the way, I haven't done this in a while, like 4 months, but it looks pretty standard. Um, Everything is checking out from what I see here, and this looks exactly how I expected you to. But yeah, you're checking if they are parallel, and to check if they're parallel, you need to use this, and then you either return true or false, which is yeah, pretty. That's
Yeah.
exactly what that's for you. Yes,
So I just copied and pasted the
yes.
example stuff it had here, did that, and that was my output.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry right now. Every time we do this, the students and I, we sit here because we're like, "Is this the right answer? I don't know. I don't, I don't know. I don't know how to find the right answer." So we typically have to look up like a calculator online, and we have to kind of cross-reference the stuff. But uh, the math is math to me.
All
So
right, works
we're
for me
sending
then.
it. The math is matching. But overall, really, even if the math wasn't mathing, the point of the exercise is really to understand how you can use objects to create other objects within each other and then still invoke the same methods. And also the very fact of leveraging your own built-in methods within your class that you're being created in to do something else later on in your class description. So the fact that you already understand this concept and you're able to apply it, it speaks tremendous about you. So good stuff. Good stuff.
Cool, cool.
All right. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and share my screen. So that was a very long assignment. Would you agree?
Yeah, it definitely took a while. I was definitely smacking my head for a while trying to get it to for the length function, and then once I finally did the print statements properly, because I kept forgetting to call the method in the print statement.
Yeah.
And I couldn't for the life of me figure out why it was just returning the object and memory location. But once I finally figured out my error, then everything just went smoothly.
All right. Okay. Well, pretty much the next part is here going to be streaming guide, right? So we're not really done with lesson 8. Um, and because it is due, it wouldn't be too easy to be like, all right, we can just continue moving on. But really, the main point of this course is it's object-oriented programming. So we're gonna make our way through streaming guide. Um, a streaming guide, as you can guess, is you're trying to replicate the creation of your streaming service from your TV, right? So let's go ahead and open up lesson 8, the streaming guide folder to encounter the README. And it should be a pretty lengthy README. Here it is. All right, so you're gonna write a couple of classes. And really the first class is going to be a movie, right? So you should be able to have like an object that's going to represent your movie, which will be title, genre, director, and year. We should have another class called streaming service. This streaming service should have the ability to have other movies, right? So we're thinking Netflix, we're thinking Hulu, Disney Plus, if you're into anime, Crunchyroll, right? So the streaming service will be something of that nature. This will have a name and a catalog. You can imagine the catalog will be some kind of data structure that's going to contain these movie objects, right? Notice that the movie object only has certain methods like get methods to grab title, genre, director, and year. Once you get to streaming servers, that's where you start seeing some of these other methods like adding a movie and deleting a movie. So you should be able to get the name and get the catalog from the streaming service, but you should also be able to add movies to that catalog or delete movies from that catalog. And the third class you see here will be streaming guide, right? So think about your TV, right? Um, Nowadays your TVs, I have a Samsung TV. What kind of TV do you got, Thomas?
I think it's a Samsung.
Yeah, right. So you like when you open it up, you see like a bar, and you see all the apps, and you just navigate through all the apps that you want to open up. Right. That's really your streaming guide. That's where you're gonna navigate through there and check what streaming service you're trying to use. So your streaming guide should allow you to add a streaming service. So you should be able to grab Amazon Prime, or Tubi. I think is another one I heard of. That's like the bootleg. Uh, uh Low budget movies, Bollywood. You should be able to delete streaming services. Or you should be able to do something like where to watch a movie, which should give you, um, you know, if you look up a movie, it should tell you what streaming services has that movie. So, uh, at the end of this, once again, you have the representation of what it should look like in code. So you can use these to your advantage, to test it out. But once again, we're using classes and objects to replicate the functionality of what a streaming service would look like. Do you have any questions, Thomas?
I don't think so.
Okay. This is a doozy. I will stay here. Let me go ahead and pause the recording. Play. All right, let's go ahead. Walk me through from the start, kind of what it's doing, and then talk to me about where you got hemmed up, and we'll tackle the issue where you weren't sure how to proceed. Thomas? Hello, hello. Thomas, you there, brother?
Okay, so class movie, um, pretty self-explanatory. Just initialized each one that was passed into it with the given data type it said, and set all the getters for it. Um, the streaming service, um, it told us to give it a name and then set an empty dictionary to catalog. So that's what's going on there. And then do getters for the catalog, the name, and then two methods to add a movie and delete a movie. So that's what I'm doing here. Because it also said for the add movie and the delete movie that we need to pass in a movie object. So that's what we're running here is the checking the catalog for the movie object, running the method to get the title, and making that equal to the movie object. Same thing for the delete movie is we're checking to see if that movie title is in the catalog. And if so, we're going to delete the key value pair. Um, and then streaming guide is where I got to at the very end. Um, but it said to not take any arguments. Um, and then we set the streaming service to an empty list. And then for add streaming service, it needed to take in a streaming service object. Same thing for the delete streaming service. So that's what I did here is I just appended the streaming service object name to the streaming services list. And then same thing for the deleting. I just removed it. And I got down to here for where to watch the movies, where it needs to return the concatenated title and year where to watch.
Okay, you on the addition of the streaming service,
Mhm.
it takes a streaming service object as an argument and adds it to a list. It's saying the entire object, not just the
Oh,
name. So this will give you errors because you're gonna be only having a string there and not having the object. And let's double check that as well with a movie. It takes a movie object as an argument and adds it to the catalog. Um,
that's
so be aware. Oh, I think you did good on the movie
that
one.
was for the
Yeah,
streaming service. Yeah.
yeah, I think that was good. Yeah, but yeah, that was definitely gonna give you an issue later on if you try to test it out. But okay,
Mm.
all right. And then on the where to watch movie, what exactly was your issue there?
I was trying to figure out the best way to do it. Initially, for some reason, I was trying to go up here and get catalog, and then time ran out, and then I realized that we're already calling the streaming service here, and we're already getting the catalog here. So I can just get the catalog from here since we're already using um, streaming objects
Hmm.
here. But wait, yeah, we're not passing in any streaming service objects, so I don't know if that would work actually.
Well, you are, let's say, scroll down. Let's look at the example we have. We have a couple movies, right?
Hmm.
Um, where are they using the where to watch one? Is there an example down below?
Yeah, I didn't get to finish
Okay, they're gonna check
typing
for
on.
um, it's a little weird. It's okay. If you click this, you should be able to see it,
See
like
what?
the raw data.
Ah, gotcha. There we go.
Okay, they're gonna look for Little Woman, right? You can see the example there, and the way it's gonna work is it's being passed in as a string. So we're gonna get a string in here, and then you have to use your streaming service guide to navigate through all the catalog, check every service for that movie,
Mhm.
utilizing that string of the movie title, right? So where are all your streaming services located at inside of your streaming guide?
They would be in this list.
Right, right. So exactly. So you know that inside of the list, you have a list of streaming services that you're gonna have to iterate through and check. We're talking Hulu. You know, when you're staying at home, you're like, oh, you know what movie I like? I liked watching The Goonies. Well, what streaming service currently has it? So you start going through all your different apps to see if it's in there. All right, you start going
Mhm.
to the search bar and checking the catalog on that streaming service. That's pretty much what we're doing here, right? we're gonna want to navigate through all the streaming services on our TV here or our stream guide and see, does this streaming service have the movie title that I'm looking for? So how do we iterate through all these streaming services and check if something is in there, right? There we go. For I in self dot underscore underscore streaming services. We're gonna iterate through this list of streaming services. And each one is going to return to us a streaming service object, right? One of
Mm.
these bad boys, which we already know you have the name and a catalog. Well, we need to check the catalog by using the get method, the get catalog method every single time that we go in there. So as we iterate through streaming services, we need to utilize the get catalog method on that streaming service. And then when we use this, it's going to return to us a dictionary that we need to check if it has the movie.
So would I do self dot streaming services I dot get
What is I?
name the index
Negative. When you do a for I
or the
in list,
iteration. Yep,
you
yep, yep.
you're grabbing the object itself, like the item itself, right? It's
Yep,
not
the
index.
iteration. Yep. Get name.
What is this?
Oh, that's the list. So it would be I because I is the name.
Right,
So
right.
let me
Ma- ma-
change that to service.
There you go. I was about to say, this is where naming conventions are very important.
Yeah, true, true. So if that's true,
Stand by. What is this going to return to you? The name of the streaming service, right? Do you care about the streaming service right now?
no, no, I don't.
I mean, well, we're gonna need it anyway. Okay, let me correct myself. We are
At
gonna
least
need it,
not
right?
yet.
At least,
Yeah.
at least not yet, but we do need to know whether if the movie does exist, we're gonna have to create this list here that we're gonna have to return if we find it. So you're not wrong, right? But we don't care to check if we don't care for the name yet until we check the catalog. If the
Right.
catalog comes back with a, hey, the movie's in here, then okay, let's go ahead and grab all the rest of the information.
So we need to get the catalog, but also in the catalog, we need to get the title, right? So would we add another method to that?
All right. So what is the catalog? What is get catalog going to return to you?
It should return the movie.
Mm-mm. So in streaming service, right here, you have a command that
Okay.
you're calling called get catalog. It's returning
Yeah.
to you what?
The dictionary.
All right, cool. So we know that when you run that command down here, it's going to return to you a dictionary.
Hmm.
There's a command that you can use in dictionaries that can look for something. It's called
In.
the get command.
Mm.
So you can chain it right here. You can say dot get and then open and close parentheses. And then here you can pass in movie title.
Okay.
Um, it's gonna look for this key.
Hmm.
Now, hold on, stand by. How is that movie catalog being set up? Um, what is a key? Okay, I'm seeing right here. Oh, okay. Okay, I see. You're trying to check if movie title is equal to. Okay, all right, I see, I see.
I mean,
Uh,
technically, I could also just do in, but and then we could also remove the get.
yeah, you can say a movie title in Surveys dot get catalog. Yeah, yeah. Let's try that.
Okay,
And
so
before we move on, just let's go
mhm.
ahead and print it's in here. All right. Especially one of the more complex type of functions like these has a lot of moving parts. You're manipulating multiple different objects. Let's make sure that this is working before you actually do anything else.
Oh boy. Let's see, where to watch a movie. Is there anything we should? No, it's the last one. So list dot remove x. X is not in list.
Line 46.
46. What happened? Did I miss something?
Uh oh, okay. What happens when you try to use a remove method on something that is not in a list? Right here on line 46. Because we have test cases, remember, that are being ran, and one of them is
Mhm.
failing. What on line 78 right here, line 78, scroll down. On line 78 right here, you're trying to delete a streaming service called Hula. You stream service two. Oh, I mean it does exist. I see you add stream service to Hula, and then you try to delete it. So why the heck isn't that working? Uh, so there's an issue with your delete streaming service function. It says list.remove x, x not in list. So, uh, yeah, right here, this one's failing.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to find a much more elegant way to delete this streaming service. Do you know how to do it?
I'm thinking. Let's see.
And that was another thing I forgot to mention to you. These functions here, specifically like deleting,
Mhm.
um, it's you want to make sure that you do something like a try and accept block or an if else. Uh, Additionally, you want to make sure you give a message or some kind of clarification that the action that you are trying to perform does what it's trying to do. Think about it like when you update your account profile or your settings, right? It, is it helpful to see like settings have been changed or settings have saved or profile successfully updated, right? These notifications are stuff that are not only helpful to your users but to your developers and debugging. So when it comes to stuff like this, when you're working around with data, um, it is important that you're checking if something worked or not, and if so, like deleted streaming service successfully would be a great debugging tool for you to have when creating these types of objects and classes. All right, so just something
Mhm.
to side note here.
Let's see. Um, so let's see. If we want to delete a streaming service, we're just going to pass in the name. And so that's going to be the key. So that should be,
not quite sure this is the right way of doing it either.
Well, that's
Um,
just checking to see if it's in there.
because when you append it, you're just passing in the entire object as a whole.
Yeah, because that's the way I understood it.
But
Streaming guide.
when you do this, if streaming guide get named, this is gonna return to you a string, and you're gonna check if it's inside that list, which is gonna be false because what's in the list are objects, not strings. Does that make sense? So that won't work.
Yeah, it's true.
Let's look at where's it that streaming guide that delete method. A method named delete streaming service that takes the name of streaming service as an argument, and if it's in the list, it removes it. Okay, I see.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, so it
so
only wants the name of the streaming service for delete?
yeah, so correct. So you need to pass in a string, which is why it wasn't working because you're passing in a whole object in there. So Negatron, Batman,
No,
this should
that won't
be
work.
streaming service name. It's gonna be a string, right?
Hmm.
Look again how they're running it. The lead streaming service, they're passing in a string as an argument. So right. So you need to iterate through this list, grab every streaming service and invoke the get name method and compare it to the string that's being passed in as an argument. Is equal to. So you're Thomas, there's no other way around it. You have to iterate through this list of streaming
Yeah,
services.
yeah, that's why I was about to go up and add
Yeah.
it. Okay, so
And you're almost there. Only difference is you have to replace this with service and invoke the get name method. There you go. If streaming service name is equal to the service dot get name, then we're gonna remove that one, right?
mhm. So
That
then we need to do
I think you can replace this with service, and now it should work.
right. So I mean, if that's the case, don't we also need to change this up here for
No,
adding?
you want to add the entire object itself.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, that's probably where I got confused.
Yeah. It was the
Okay.
deleting that needs to take a name of a streaming service as an argument. So the name, not the entire object.
All
And if
right.
it's in the list, it removes it.
All right. So now this should
Ah,
print. It's in here.
yeah,
Should.
line 46 should not fail prior to running again.
Yep, it's in here.
Right on. So everything else is working perfectly fine, no errors. We're be able to run up to line 81, which is checking the little woman. But yeah, cool. Did we add Little Woman in there? Yeah, we did. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's continue moving on.
So if it's in there, all we have to do now is return certain items in a
Right.
concatenated string. So,
So we probably look at this. It looks like it's a list. So it wants us to return a
mhm,
list, and there's certain items it wants. At index 0, it's supposed to be the movie title and the year it came out. So we're probably gonna have to make a concatenated string or some interpolated string to
mhm.
joining the movie title and year. We need to make sure index 1 is the service. I don't know what the heck this is.
It looks like a service. I think all
Maybe.
of those are services.
Uh, maybe. I haven't done this in a while. Hmm. A stream is connection the name of your movie title, with the rest of the list being the name of streamers. You're right. Everything else is going to be what streaming services it was caught in. Yeah, so go ahead, make it happen. And then I think that's enough to get you started. I'll give you 14 minutes to get it rock and rolling, and I'll come back in a bit.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and then you would do the length of self dot underscore underscore watch is equal to 0. Right.
Okay.
So
Then we do that.
correct. Then you get the movie. Also, make sure you make the formatted string here so you can add it to the very first index.
Which took was.
Yeah, that string that you had inside of the list that I told you to erase.
Hmm. I have it copied.
Okay,
Right.
yeah. I would save it to some kind of variable, and then at the end you can start, appending them all together.
Um, oh, I need to make it. Um, oh, wait. I already have it. Do this. Self dot. Wait, what's going on? Stop it. It's just wanting to delete things.
Press
Come
your
on
insert
now.
key. Press your insert key.
This.
Did you press the did you press your insert key by accident on your keyboard, or are you on the laptop?
No, I don't think I pressed anything.
That's typically what happens. It starts deleting or overwriting stuff. Press the insert key. Did you press it or no?
Hmm.
Press the 0
Yeah.
key on your number key on your number pad.
Hmm.
Press the right arrow. I think it should be good. Try.
Yeah, no, I just did. Everything's working out now.
Okay, okay, okay. My bad.
Let's see. So let's see. Here, formatted string, so need to.
Yeah, and then we append it to that self dot watch. Append self dot format string and append the year.
That is the year
I'm sorry. You're right. Not. I meant to say the
and the
service.
name.
You need to
Yeah.
append the service name.
Um,
It will be
wouldn't.
service dot get name. Because that's the first service we encountered it in. Remember, like for example, here it's HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
That should be the second
Oh,
argument.
oh, I see where we're going. Okay.
And then the next one will be an elif. Elif, and then we're gonna check the length of self dot watch. If it's greater than 2, or if it's equal, or if it's greater or equal to 2, then that means we've already encountered it once, so we just need to add the service in there to the end of the list.
Then it would be let's do that thing again, where it's overriding. Can't see. Go away. Um, that threw me off now. Service dot get. Wait, why are all those thrown off more? Okay. Okay, so that should work.
So the else statement should be return none if we don't encounter anything.
Right. Should it just be a string or just like straight up none?
Yeah, N, capital N, O N E. And then at the end of this, outside the for loop, we should be able to return um the self dot underscore watch.
There we go.
And let's give it a try.
Whoa,
It
there.
I don't think we're printing anything out, so we might not see anything at first. Movie title has no attribute values.
No, we haven't done anything yet. That was for testing earlier.
Oh, okay. Okay.
What are we
Print out search
in?
results.
Streaming. Print out what now?
Search results so we can see it.
Did it move me back? It did. Okay. Greater than equals. Did I mess that up? Should
That
be equals.
lives the length, put the length around,
Wait, hold on. It
yeah, the
it's
parentheses needs to be right here.
yeah. It's doing that stupid thing. It's trying to replace things again. I don't know why it's doing this. Stupid. None.
None, which is, I don't know. I mean, it should be in there, little woman.
Yeah. We add it down here. Where to watch little woman. Yeah, we didn't remove it.
All right, go ahead and pause for